As Brandon mentioned, I'm Tia Hopkins, CEO of CTRL+EXEC. I've been in tech for about 25 years. I'd say the last 10 of those years were spent working at an organization that delivered security operations center services as a service. So I've seen a lot in terms of how organizations have been looking to go from traditional security operations where we're fully reliant on a SIM from more of the managed detection and response approach, where we're getting closer to the source of truth and pulling in data from all the technologies and the environments, and just leveraging enrichment and platforms and things like that to drive different outcomes all the way through what we're talking about today. And that is just in general how I'm going to talk more from the operational perspective and how we need to think about how to modernize the way we're functioning. And I'm just going to get right into it. And I'm either going to make a lot of friends or lose a lot of friends when I say this. But my thesis for this entire discussion is that the objective hasn't changed. It's the field conditions that have changed. And I'll come back to that in a moment. But the point of it is security operations not operate environments defined by speed, scale, and constant change. So it means that while we never really had a high degree of certainty in the cybersecurity space, it's even less certain now, right? Things are moving faster at larger scale when we were already struggling to keep up. And I don't know how many American football fans are out there, but I'm the co-owner and head coach of a women's tackle football team, and I like to draw a lot of parallels between football and cybersecurity. So when I say the field conditions have, if you think about an American football field, the goalposts are always in the same place. And so it's kind of the same thing in security. Our goalposts haven't moved, but the field conditions, meaning we could prepare for a football game in perfect weather conditions. It's sunny outside, there's no wind. But when it's time to play the game, we could be in snow, the wind could be terrible, it could be a torrential downpour. And this is what we're dealing with today. I mean, mostly because of AI, let's face it. But again, the outcome of what we're on the hook to deliver hasn't changed. It's just that what we're up against has. So let's talk about the traditional model and where we're coming from. I mean, the original mission was to detect threats that get into the environment, investigate the incidents, make sure a response is coordinated, and overall, we want to protect the business. And that worked for us for a very long time. But the running theme and what I'm going to talk about here today is a lot of what we're doing just isn't enough anymore. And so getting into a bit of why that is. Most of all, our environments are changing around us faster than our approaches to securing our environments possibly can. The stats that you see on the left of the slide here are taken from, there's an organization that just interviewed 300 CISOs, and granted, they're from large enterprise, but some of the takeaways from that were they're looking at over 3,000 alerts a day across more than 28 security tools when performing an investigation, and 40% of the alerts are never even investigated. Now, I know everyone doesn't come from large enterprise, but even if we have all these numbers, that's wild. And that's a lot for us to keep up with. And our models, as we're running them today, a lot of organizations, some organizations are on the modernization path and have achieved a higher level of modernization than others. But the traditional approach is no longer enough. And some of the reasons for that, as you can see on the right, our attack surface is just increasingly expanding and becoming more complex as we put more things in the cloud, as identity tends to grow more and more, like more things in our environment have an identity, not just users anymore. And obviously the implications of SaaS. Our tools, we have tool after tool after tool. We have a lot of tool sprawl, faster than we can integrate tools to effectively use them in our environment. Then because we have all these tools, because we have all these technologies, because we want to see what's going on, obviously, because we can't protect what we can't see, now we're dealing with a really high volume of telemetry, and it's really outpacing the teams that have to deal with it. They're struggling to keep up, quite frankly. So again, might lose some friends here, might gain some. My belief is that one of our problems is not that we're losing visibility, we're losing time to act. So to go back to football for a second, imagine in between plays, like my team runs a play, and I know I have 40 seconds to figure out what we're going to do next. And it's going to be based on the last play, based on what we're trying to do, based on the conditions of the field, where we are in the field, what point are we in the game. I have 40 seconds to figure that out. If all of a sudden in the middle of the game, the referee came to me and said, hey, you've got 20 seconds, your play clock is 20 seconds, that's going to drastically change the amount of pressure that I feel when I have to make a decision between plays. And that's what organizations are dealing with today. We can still see all the things, but they're moving so fast. The landscape is changing so fast. Our environments are changing so fast that we're just losing the time to build a level of certainty that we're used to building. So next here, just comparing the models, right? The older model to the newer model that we need to be thinking about. Our old model, like I said, we were there to detect what's going on, investigate it, and respond to it so we could protect the business. But that's like a linear pipeline. A lot of times that results in point-in-time snapshots, relying on point-in-time information versus a newer model where we're constantly leveraging, and actually these are the 4 pillars of cyber resilience according to NIST: anticipate, withstand, recover, and adapt. So we're constantly trying to understand our threat landscape, our attack surface, what the risk level is of our environment, what the risk tolerance level is of the business. If something happens, we have to be able to withstand that. We have to be able to degrade with grace so that we can quickly recover and then adapt to what we've learned.